Hi, survivors. It's me, Purpose Ann. I'm reporting to you. Right now, Hurricane Ida batters Louisiana, leaving New Orleans without power. We're battered Louisiana, leaving millions without power, not only in Louisiana and in New Orleans, but also in Mississippi. And this is important for all of us to know, even us who have been in hurricanes and severe tornadoes, severe thunderstorms, tropical storms, floods before, that we have to keep our mind with a prepping mentality at all times these days and times, because things are just happening spontaneously, from pandemics to weather related events, crime, severe shortages of all types of shortages. It seems like now more than ever, things are continuously occurring in our lives. And if we don't plan, and if we don't prepare and prep and have our family aware of what's going on, and aware of the plan that is set in place for our survival, we are in a lot of trouble. It's just so much going on at one time. So the Wall Street Journal, it goes on to state that in New Orleans, Hurricane Ida made landfall on Sunday and battered the city as much of southeast Louisiana, knocking out power, downing trees, and causing havoc as the region's most severe storm since Hurricane Katrina exactly 16 years earlier. Ida arrived at Port Fourchon, 16 miles south of New Orleans, at midday. It was a Category 4 hurricane, the second highest storm classification. It brought pounding rain, sustained winds of 150 miles an hour, and dangerous sea surges. All of New Orleans had lost power by Sunday night. An Entergy spokesman confirmed more than 1 million customers statewide were without power. According to data from poweroutage.us, earlier in the day, the Sewerage and Water Board of New Orleans advised people not to run dishwashers, or washing machines to minimize wastewater because sewage pump stations had been knocked out by power outages. The first death from the storm was reported by the Ascension Parish Sheriff's Office, which said deputies responded Sunday night to reports of a person injured from a falling tree and arrived to find the victim deceased. Storm trackers said that even after several hours, the hurricane remained as strong as when it made landfall, though by early Monday morning it was downgraded, first to Category 1, then to a tropical storm. Louisiana Governor John Bel Edwards said that there were roughly 1,500 people in 23 shelters, and those numbers were expected to increase as people discovered that their homes were no longer habitable. He advised residents to abide by curfews set by parishes and stay off the roads. He said that this would be one of the strongest storms the state has experienced since at least the 1850s. As I said in one of my previous videos, that a lot of the New Orleans evacuees that come here to Houston, they've come here. I spoke to a family, and she was describing, you should have seen the look on her face. She said that it was very strange how that storm picked up as fast as it did. She said at first it was going, I think she said, I forgot the speed, but she said, I don't know if she's aware of what's going on these days and times, but I looked at her eyes, I felt her spirit. She said, and all of a sudden it was in our area. She said, we was getting ready to go and we were hitting the road. I was getting my kids ready. She said, and all of a sudden it just hit real quick. I had the feeling that I knew what was going on, just like in that Texas winter storm earlier. All the stuff just started happening all of a sudden. Felt real weird, really weird, felt very unnatural. And that's what she was trying to say, but she didn't know. A lot of people think these weather-related events are natural, and I'm going to say allegedly, but I feel and I think differently. I was in too many of them in this last year, and the way they come, it was just unbelievable. I never experienced anything like that in my life. Just like last year, at the beginning of the pandemic, I think it was like 2 or 3 months into the pandemic, and a tornado just hit a part of Texas that I was in. I mean, by the time they gave us a warning, it had already hit. Actually, it was hitting at that same time. And everybody said they knew nothing about a tornado coming to that area. We were all watching the news on a daily basis, because everybody wanted to know what was going on in the world with the pandemic. When I say that tornado just all of a sudden came, so many people died, so many people lost their homes, their mobile homes, their homesteads. And this is why it's important for us to prep. And this is why it's important for us to watch prepping channels, including myself, because it keeps us on point of what's going on in the world before it even happens and what's going on while it's happening. So we can keep our mind, once again, with that prepping mentality to stay with ample amount of water, to stay with things to purify your water. Now, here it is. We haven't even experienced a storm out here in Texas, and the water smells like sewage, And if I wasn't a prepper, I'd be in trouble. I would be in big trouble if I didn't have a water filtration system, and if I didn't have water purification tablets, and if I didn't have a lot of Clorox on me, or some types of way of purifying my water, or enough water to suffice to brush my teeth and to wash my face and even take bird baths if that's the case, because you do not want to get in sewage water. You don't want to play with it at all. And for all my viewers, if you smell anything contaminated or nasty with your water, don't use it. Don't drink it. Don't brush your teeth in it. Don't wash your face with it. God forbid it gets in your eyes or your nose or in your mouth. The problems you'll have to deal with then. I'm telling you guys, if you can. A lot of people can afford to have a month or 2 or 3 months worth of food, but y'all, I'm telling you, it's worth it. It's worth it. And right now is the best time to go and get the things that you need if you can, or make the foods that you can and can them, because the prices are only going to increase more and more and more. It's already getting ridiculous by the day. And it seems like it's just the saga won't stop. And I hate to say that, but, I just have to tell it the way it is, I have to tell it like it is now. A lot of these people who are here in Houston, Texas, or in Texas and other surrounding areas, I had a viewer come and say he had family members come to where he is in St. Louis to evacuate that terrible storm Ida. A lot of these people are now going to be displaced. Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to be at the mercy of FEMA and the Red Cross to get the help that they need. That's why I say we have to be wise about our spending. We have to be wise these days about our investing. Any other time before the pandemic, I would say say it was probably maybe have been saved to make some investments, not knowing if you're going to get an ROI, that's a return on your investments. Maybe it was safe to splurge a little bit. Now it's not the time. Now it's not the time, because it seems like emergency after emergency after emergency after emergency after emergency continues to occur. And also with your first aid supplies. Make sure you always have your first aid supplies on hand. Make sure you always have your medications, y'all. You just never, a bug-out bag is always necessary. You just never know when you're going to have to just up and go. When it's going to be a fight or a flight. And these storms, they be flights. That lady said she had to hurry up and get her things together. And as she was describing it to me, I was visualizing in my mind past memories of times when storms hit me in an area, and when I had my little baby, and before I had my baby, she's an adult now, but and we just had to up and leave. And how I almost lost her in one storm. She was a newborn, and I was like this up in the water. I had my hands up with her in my hands, and I'm treading the nasty contaminated waters that came along with that storm. And you guys, you just want to have the things that are important to you beside you at all times, or somewhere accessible where you just